Hey, where'd you go? That's a big ass bird. What's going on, boys? Welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to some E36 content. Hold on. There we go. Today, what I have is something I've kind of done before, but I need to do it again. If you can see the polishing pads on the car, there they are. When I got paintless dent removal, they used a microfiber and they, checked their work and wiped off the car. Left a lot of, let's see if I can show you guys. So, I'll get it out in the light here to see if I can show you, but man, there's some heavy swirl marks on here that are just really bad. Oh, you can see them for sure. Look at those. I mean, it's almost like they use sandpaper on this thing. Really bad. I've been meaning to do touch-up paint and get the body kind of in shape. Now, I'm not a professional detailer, but I do have a connection to this girl. Jennifer over at Carsmatology. She actually sent me all this stuff a while back. The random orbital from Griot's, the polishing compound, and a few other things. So shout out to her. Like I said, here she is on Instagram. Give her a follow. She knows her stuff insanely well. She's been doing this forever. So whenever I have any type of detailing question, I reach out to her, and she's the homie. She hooks it up. You guys should definitely follow her, and I'm trying to talk her into doing a YouTube channel. So leave a comment down below if you think she should, because I'm telling her she would smash it. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is wash the car, get it kind of like prepped, I guess. I'm gonna wash it, dry it, and then bring it back in here, get some lighting set up, and try and polish out that stuff, but also use touch-up paint. This stuff. Oh yeah, Avis Blue. Are you gonna focus on that? There we go, Avis Blue. Use that touch-up paint on things like this. Now I want to touch those up and like that, and like maybe things like that. I know touch-up paint isn't going to fix those, and I'm not trying to get this body in like perfect shape. I also don't want to do a repaint or anything like that. All I want to do is just touch up those little spots, get it as dialed as I can, and this will be a learning process for me because I've never done touch-up paint and then polish and anything like that before. So what I'm going to do is wash it, get it cleaned, try and prep the surface as much as possible, and then probably go through and fill in the spots that I want to touch up, and then go and hit it with the polisher after that. That's my plan. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Oops. Alright, so now that we got this dry, I'm going to set up this thing, which is an absolute beast of a light, and show you guys what I'm talking about with this hood. Let me get this thing set up. Here's what I'm trying to get out on the hood. I think you guys can see that. I think it's showing up on camera. You can see there was a dent in the hood coming up right around here, and when they got it out, they must have used a microfiber to make sure it was out, but God, they just destroyed the hood right there. You can tell it's really, really bad. That, and this probably won't be able to show up on camera as easy. There's a few scratches on my gas cap, but I use the gas cap. If you've ever had anything painted before, they ask you to bring in, at least for old cars, I don't know about new cars, they ask you to bring in a gas cap so they can match the paint along with the color code and everything like that. So when I had the wing done, I brought in my gas cap, and the gas cap came back with a ton of overspray on it. So you can't really see it here in the garage, but when you get it out in the sun, you can see it's like almost like faded. I had a buddy check it out, and he said it feels and looks like overspray. So I'm gonna try and polish that. I'm gonna try and get some of the stuff like that out. Hopefully that stuff comes out. But if you can hear that hissing noise, I got the air compressor hooked up. So for now, I'm gonna start with the hood, try and get this stuff taken care of right now, and then I may just go to town on a lot of it. I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
To go to Renault, but the half.
Alright, so now that I have this light on, you can see this a lot better. Or at least you could. Kind of picking it up, you can kind of see how it's dull. And definitely, yeah, it's something, they did something to it. This paint shop I used was absolutely horrible. But I want to get these buffed out, but I don't know if I'll be able to, and that's one of the things I wanted to use a touch-up paint on. But for the most part, I want to focus on trying to get this shiny the way it should be and get rid of all this. So that's my project right now. Alright, so I've gone over basically the entire hood, and then what I kind of realized is where there were a lot of scrapes and stuff was where they did paintless dent removal. So the guys who did it clearly did it with a dirty rag. So I basically went through and did the spots where paintless dent removal was, and then this is the spot that you could see best. And I pretty much have the streaks or swirls or whatever you want to call them taken care of now. So now I just have to go back over it with some sort of polishing compound, or what I'm gonna go over it with is this Car Pro Reflect. Whatever, folks, there we go, Reflect. So I'm gonna go over the car with that on the spots that I touched or that I hit with the polishing compound, and just kind of go, basically, like I said, go over the problem spots. I'm not doing the entire car because that would probably take me the better part of a weekend. And I just want to knock this out today. So I'm kind of doing the spots that need the most work. I also was going to use touch-up paint and then polish those over once I actually hit the chips with touch-up paint, but my touch-up paint that I have is like 6 months old, and it's basically just gunk now. So that touch-up paint isn't gonna work, so I have to go get new touch-up paint and go over all the chips, but I'm not too worried about that. So for right now, I'm just gonna finish up with the Car Pro Reflect. Whew, it's a new day, boys. So last you saw, I was polishing on the M3. I have a new bottle of touch-up paint that I went and got yesterday. And today what I'm going to do is finish up with the chips. Basically what I did was I ended up going over the entire car. The hood, like I said, basically the entire car. The driver's side front fender, the driver's side door, the rear quarter. The only thing I didn't really do was the trunk and wing area. but then I did the gas cap, the rear quarter on the passenger, the door on the passenger, and the fender on the passenger. So I basically did the entire thing. I mean, again, there's a few areas that I didn't touch and a few areas where, you know, my 6-inch orbital can't really hit, so it's a little more complicated. It took about a day. I went over it with some heavy compound and then some lighter compound. I think I showed you guys that. So my plan for today is, now that I have that touch-up paint and I've gone over the entire car, I'm going to start touching up all the chips. It's not really a good day to be doing this because it's crappy and rainy outside and not hot, but I mean, I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to go through and mark all the chips that I have, maybe put a piece of tape next to them that I see, and then go through and try and touch up as many of them as possible, let it dry, and then go through and buff those out. So that's the plan. I'm gonna get this car moved out, move the BMW in the middle so I have a little more room, and go from there. All right, boys, so here's what I got. I went through and just taped all the dings, or all the little scratches that I could find. Hopefully this will focus. And this is basically what I ended up with. Things like this, little things like that. I mean, some of these are so tiny, I'm not sure if it's actually worth my time, but just all these little guys. So my plan is to clean the areas of the chips and then go through and use that touch-up paint. All right, so I gotta show you guys these touch-up paints. This is the original one I had, which I left in the garage, and you can see it is literally like, it's just a, that's not gonna work anymore. I mean, luckily it's cheap. So, got a new one, you can hear it. It's good, it's liquid. Oh yeah. That's gonna be much easier. So, now the plan is to go to town touching these up as best I can. First time doing this, so, I mean, fingers crossed, eh? Alright, let's see. Yeah, never done this. So I apologize in advance because I know this is not going to be, I have literally no idea what I'm doing here, but I'm going to try and get it to where there's the least amount dripping as possible. I just feel like that'll make my life easier. Let's see. So basically all I'm trying to do is like put it on there, and then I'm gonna hit it with a polisher again, or with the buffer. Man, it's just, there's so much of it. Need a lot less. So something like that, I guess. All right, boys, a little bit of a situational update here. There's a reason I almost failed art in high school. I'm just not good with anything that has to do with art at all. And I just reminded myself of this. So, with that being said, I've touched up all of the spots. So, everything that you see that has tape next to it has been a spot that has been touched up. Now I'm going to let it all dry. I went through and did a second coat of touch-up paint. Now I'm going to let this dry, bake, cure, whatever it is. Come back. Once that's done, then I'm going to hit it with the buffer and try and hopefully polish it and blend it in some form or fashion. That's what I'm thinking in my head. That's what I'm going for. I hope it works out, because if not, I'm probably going to have to like wet sand or something. And I really don't want to do that. So we're gonna give it like half an hour, something like that. Let it bake, let it do whatever it needs to do. It's not baking, it's freaking cold out, but you know what I mean. And then I'm gonna come back, check it out, and start buffing. boys, it's a new day. Whew, and man, lots of work. It's cold. It's cold out here today. That's not why I moved to Texas. I was planning on getting the car out and actually showing you guys the end product, but when it's like this, no chance. Anyway, so good news and bad news. Good news is I love the results of the touch-up paint and the polishing. So I don't know if you'll be able to see many of them. They're still, I mean, I did what I would say is move that, a pretty decent job. You know, the ones on the hood were a lot deeper, but ones like this guy, where is it? That guy right there is good. Like these guys turned out, they're a little brighter in camera than they are in person, but those guys turned out good. Like this guy right here. Oh, hey Rambo, what are you doing? How'd you get there? I'll be right there. Altogether, I'm really pleased with the results on this. Again, you can still see the chips if you're looking at it really closely. You can still see them. In the honor of being as transparent as possible, I messed up. I made a boo-boo. I jacked up a spot. Let me show you. So, just so you guys are aware, like I said, I'm not a detailer. There was, my hood has been repainted. We've come to that conclusion. So, there was a chip on, I'll just show you. I burnt a spot right here. It's actually, it's not that bad. It's pretty bad. I mean, here's the scratch that I was getting, or the chip that I was getting at right there. I don't know if it'll focus on that. There's the chip. And I was just, that turned out really good, actually. I'm really pleased with that. This, on the other hand, not so much. So, if you're unfamiliar with polishing, what can happen is you can burn through the paint because it gets too hot and you basically just wipe it off. And it just burns through the paint. And that is what I did. Somehow I did it with a Griot's Random Orbital. You know, not the heaviest of polishing compounds, and that's definitely one of the easier machines to use. However, when you have a body piece that's been repainted, it's generally going to be thinner, not as much paint applied, generally, from what I'm told. Did that, messed that up, that's my bad. But again, this is a project card, something I'm meant to learn on. Mistakes like that are going to happen. I'm not really too worried about it. If it really starts to bug me, I'll look into getting it resprayed or something, but basically, I wanted to do the touch-up on the chips for content and for me to learn. I'm going to be polishing more in the future. It's going to be something that I do more on more project cars. Again, this is going to be brought to the track probably as soon as it gets nicer out and Formula One is out of town and Code is back open and some of the other tracks are back open. So I'm not too worried about it. It's gonna get more scratches, dings, whatever. But this is a huge learning experience, and yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm not glad that I burnt it, but mistakes happen. I wish I could pull it out and give you guys a good solid look at it. Paint looks awesome. The stuff that I did to it, it looks really, really good. Oh yeah, there are these ones back here. I don't know if you guys remember, there was that chip as well. That one turned out actually really good. And this scratch right here I tried to fill in. It turned out all right. But overall, I'm super pleased with how everything turned out. So, a little bit of a different video. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe. We got Formula One coming up literally in 2 days. I have some family coming in for that, so I'll try to film as much as I can of that. If you're not following me on Instagram, give me a follow there because I'll post a lot more on Instagram for Formula One stuff. And then after that, I still have that skid plate to install. And then again, I know I've been saying this, but it's track time with this thing. It needs to get out on the track. So those are the future plans, guys. Smash that subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.